Darren here, and welcome to the unglamorous side of detailing. This is my world. I can't respond to everything. I literally get down and dirty, but ironically, some of the dirtiest, most unwanted work also has the most profit margin into it. This happens to be one of those cases. It's dirty, it's messy, it's noisy. This is a job nobody wants. Most guys would run in the opposite direction because they're like, no way in hell am I touching that. The second point I want to make is that I've got a lot of things in the work I'm excited about. I'm setting up interviews with guys in the industry, well-known people that are well-connected. We got the Chris West of Solution Finish. We got the Tom Horvath of Clear Coat Solutions. He's the original founder of System 1 from back in the 90s. I've got Dr. Detail out of Fullerton. I'm going to interview him, and he's a chemist, and we're gonna talk about deionized water, why guys use it, why you don't, and apply some context to it. But I'm really doing a lot of work on the back end, and I'm really excited to bring these videos to you. Unfortunately, I can't get them to you quick enough. And that's the good news for you guys, is this is my world. I literally make a living doing this. So I'm down in the trenches just like you guys are. I mean, I don't know if you can see all this dirt, all this blue splatter. And that's a learning moment, is this boat has been repainted. Most boats are not repainted. This is a single stage paint. How do I know it's single stage? Because it's coming out blue. I mean, look at my buffer. It is saturated with blue because I'm sanding off the orange peel, trying to flatten it out, and then I'm gonna buff it. I'm trying out a product that was introduced to me by Chris West of Solution Finish. He's going to be distributing Bright Max. It's a huge company, huge following in the UK. I'm testing out their Pro Max so far. Great experience, great results. I'm testing out a sandpaper that's from Switzerland. I don't even know how to enunciate that name. Siakarat, who knows? It's grossly expensive. But when I compare it to the Meguiar's, I don't even know what their official name is, but it's their Meguiar's sanding disc. There is hands down no comparison. This gets gummed up, watered up after a few passes. This can be rinsed out. I've been able to do this entire boat. I'm doing it with 1,000 grit first, then I'm following up with 2,000 grit. I can use a single disc, and I think a package of this, I think, is close to $30. So essentially that's about $15 per sanding disc. Compare that to these. Night and day difference though. And that's where I like to apply context. It's like, okay, will this perform better? Well, it depends on what you mean by performance and better. Time is money. So these are all the variables that you have to take into the equation as a detailer as you pick and choose products and processes or techniques. And that's where I'm trying to help you along, is to go through that learning curve first. There's a saying, the first man through the wall is going to be the bloodiest, okay? So I'm going to bloody up myself because I'm going to be first through that wall, check out products and processes and techniques. And when I get through that wall and I'm bloodied up and I'm tore up, it's like, okay, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to problem solve and say, you know what? Based on this situation, this is the better route to go. This is the better product, the better tool, whatever. And you can learn from my mistakes or learning curve, call it whatever you want, so you don't have to get bloodied up yourself. If my customer comes out, maybe I can interview him, get a little insight from his perspective as a customer. They went out to lunch. We'll wait and see if they come back, and maybe I'll bring you in. But in the meantime, let me take you for a little tour of the project. What I have is, I don't even know the length of this boat. I think it's 23 feet. The guy's restoring it, and you have a couple of options. First off is it was a beige. He did not like that. So I could have restored and did gel coat restoration, fiberglass restoration. And by the way, regarding the website, check that out, because if you do a search, and it doesn't matter where you live in the country, so long as you enter either a zip code or a city and a state. Do a search and see where I come up. Do gel coat restoration or fiberglass boat restoration. Orange County, California, because there's also an Orange County in Florida. And see if I don't come up on either the first or second page. And that's what's cool about the website. And that's what's cool is I've learned to be self-reliant and do my own SEO, which is search engine optimization. So I pull in this kind of traffic and it gets me these kinds of jobs. Yes, it's dirty, but you got to make a living, right? So what I've done is I have sanded. Now he painted this himself here in his driveway. And as I like to use the comparison like with surfing, okay? And I think it's appropriate because I live in California, even though I don't do surfing much anymore. Life gets in the way and you know how that goes. Point is you can take the best surfer in the world and put him on the crappiest waves in the world. There's only so much he can do. So this is the discussion I had with this customer is, okay, I can improve this, but I'm still limited by my canvas in which I'm working on, which is this boat. Tons of orange peel, okay? But so we tested a spot. I had the conversation with them prior and said, this is a job that normally I would not take on and most guys would not be willing to take on, but I love a challenge. It's in the hard challenges where you really learn your skills and techniques at every level. So in order to make it worth my while and his while, so that it's a win for both of us, I explained all the variables, which I won't go into elaborate detail in the moment. The major detail is the fact that I'm limited by the canvas, which means that this boat's been repainted. It's a home job. It's got tons of orange peel. I know I can improve anything. Now, that's where the customer, once I show him what the improvement looks like and the end result is, will it be what's called a fair ROI, return on investment, meaning the money that he's going to spend on me and my services to deliver these kinds of results, is it worth it to him? Only the customer can decide that. But you as an expert, you've got to be able to pull out those questions and present those questions to him in order to pull that information out from him. And that's part of managing expectations and creating that win-win for both of you. So this side, I've sanded it, 1,000 grit, 2,000 grit. I buffed it with the Pro Max by Bright Max, and now I still have to finish the other side sanding it. I'll show you down the side, and I'm sure as I go down the side you will see the orange peel. Now the problem is because I know the paint's only so thick and you cannot use a traditional paint thickness gauge on this because it's fiberglass. It does not work on fiberglass. So I have to base it on experience. And what the customer told me that he applied 3 coats. So I cannot just sand this until it's completely flat because I know that I'm going to go through the paint if I do that. So there'll be some spots along here that are completely flat and flawless, and then suddenly you have more orange peel. Well, that's the limitations of this canvas. So in a lot of ways, this is where, you know, guys get bogged down and become narrow-minded on the forums with all the endless chatter, and they overthink things. It's like, well, wait a minute, half that stuff's just inappropriate for most car owners, boat owners, fill in the blank. So that's where I try to apply context. Anyhow, so this side, I have sanded it with 1,000 grit up to this line of demarcation here. I'm working my way forward. I'm doing 2,000 grit. Then I've got my DeWalt buffer, my rotary. I've got it set on 1,200 RPMs with my wool pad, and I prefer 100% wool pad. I do not like the synthetic blends. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to switch to my DA buffer, and I'm going to switch to a foam pad. Here's my big assortment of polishes and pads and so forth. So I'll switch to my foam cutting pad, and I'm going to finish this off and raise this boat or this paint job from, let's say, a level 5 to a level 7. So I'm going to raise it, in my opinion, about 2 points. Anyhow, just so take whatever you want from this video. Just know a lot is going on behind the scenes. I wish I had more time to produce these videos at a much faster rate than I'm able to do. But as I say, in a large way, that is the good news, because you know that you're getting fed information from a guy that literally lives this every day. Okay, I'm not like cooped up in some office where I've got this glorified warehouse in the back with this completely controlled environment. Go down the list, okay? So I just try to keep it real. Doesn't mean I have all the answers or that my way is the only way. I'm just trying to get you guys over that hump, over through the hurdles quicker, or literally avoid the hurdles so that you can ramp up, make money, enjoy what you're doing, but get paid to do it, and continue your way to success. Okay, so actually I turned that camera on and it's taping because I thought, okay, this is stuff that needs to be on that camera right there. So this is Sean, this is my customer. I've already spent a few moments with you guys explaining what I was doing today. And so let me just break down the process for all my viewers out there. Actually, let's go to the beginning. How did you actually find me first? I know you found me on the website somehow.
I did.
Do you recall the search terms that you entered and did a search?
What I did was I actually just searched Orange County auto detailing. I think.
You did? Okay, yeah. You started with something as general as auto detailing.
Literally, I believe it was just auto detailing Orange County.
Okay.
And
do you recall which page that came up, first, second, third, or how many pages you went through?
Initially, I think I just found an auto detailing page.
Uh-huh.
I think it was probably Auto Fetish.
Okay.
And it looked intriguing, and I liked that there was a lot of information and data on there, not just a picture of a pretty car and
right.
we can come and detail for you, but I mean it was actually informative, and I got the impression that you were truly enthusiastic about it, and I mean it looked really good.
Okay, good. And I like to hear that stuff. And as I told Sean before I turned this on, this isn't a moment where I try to get my customers to stroke my ego. Trust me. It's like we got to keep it real, because he goes, hey, I'm not a good actor. I said, well, that's good news, because I don't want any acting. I just want it, just call it like it is. If you said to me, it's like, hey, you know what, Darren, honestly, I was expecting more, or I'm a little disappointed, I would actually want that on this moment, because it's like, okay, then either I did not educate you, I did not clarify the limitations of the moment, something is on me at that moment. Because if I can pull that out of you, which is part of my job when we talk on the phone initially, when I show up, because there's all these different stages, and as a detailer, that's your job, so that you can over deliver, and never mind over delivering, how about just delivering on your expectations? But if I don't know what's going through your head, because what I have to assess is, does my customer even have realistic expectations? He may think that something's possible, and I know through experience that it's not. So you have to assess what is even possible in this moment. The next biggest moment is what is appropriate. Okay, so is this a $5 million yacht? No, it's not. Okay, you bought it, you wanted a sailboat. I think you said you have a 7-year-old son, you thought it'd be cool, you want to teach him how to sail. So I don't know exactly what you paid for this, but it's got to be appropriate. And it's the same discussion with cars, boats, RVs. It's like, okay, what's realistic, but more importantly, what's appropriate based on you and your world, whether it's your budget, your expectations, how are you going to be able to maintain it, what kind of care is going to take place on this moving forward. So how do you take all that information and come to a conclusion that's realistic and appropriate? So that's the challenge for you guys, and that's, as I was sharing with you, is it's far more than just how to buff a car or a boat. It's like, okay, welcome to the world of running a business, specifically an auto detailing business. So you and I went back and forth email. I asked for some pictures. You sent me what you felt was kind of a picture that you thought, oh my gosh, if Darren sees this, he's probably going to think it's way worse.
Yeah.
Words to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it because based on your description with our prior emails, I kind of had an idea what was going to what was going on. When you sent that picture, it just confirmed what I was already envisioning in my head. So when I showed up and he thought, oh my gosh, Darren's probably going to think it's way worse than it really is. Actually, I felt the picture did it justice. So there was no misrepresentation on your part, and you weren't trying to misrepresent. You just wanted to keep it real, and so that you didn't have me show up and thought, there's no way I can do this, Sean. There's just no way. That didn't happen because I thought the picture did it justice. It was a fair representation, and that's where I do my best to pull information out of customers, because customers don't always have that ability to say, okay, this is what I'm expecting, this is my experience, all that stuff, because as a detailer I need all that information. So I know that the nature of the beast. What is this beast? Not to call you literally a beast, but metaphorically, the nature of the beast. Everyone's different. Everyone sees things differently. So there's a certain emotional attachment to this boat. You put a lot of work and effort into it. You painted it yourself. Not typical with boat owners. Typically, I'm working with gel coat. So if that is unique in and of itself. So you ultimately, and I don't know if I caught this on camera because I started shooting it before I actually announced, hey, guess what, Sean, we're on camera. And you say, you know what, the more I look at it, the better this looks. I'm pleased. What were some of your words that you used, descriptive words?
Well, I mean, it is what it is, to put it into context, like you were saying. I mean, it's a fairly quite modest boat. It's not a mega yacht, but it's a mega yacht to me, and I appreciate it, and I want to,
keep talking
and bring it back to life. It was a basket case when I got it.
Basket case, that's good.
I've poured a lot of effort into it, and it looked. It essentially, in my terms, I would say it probably hadn't had any kind of real maintenance or work done to it in I don't know how long. So I've been doing lots of things. I've put these windows on, they're dusty, and many other things, electronics and paint. I wanted to look good and function well, and paint for a quality job is extremely expensive.
Yes.
And I decided, I'm a mechanical guy, I'm going to give it a shot, and and I gave it my honest effort. I really did. I did a lot of research, and I followed instructions, and there is a craft and a talent to it. It is just not like dealing cards. And
right. And I kind of use the analogy with you that, and this is understanding the limitations of everything. Like when I do product reviews for you guys, the manufacturer's never going to put on their label, well, what they will put is like, oh, our product is good for this, get the shiniest, glossiest, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. They're never going to say, well, the limitations are you can't use it in the sun, it'll stain black trim, it's only good with the buffer, blah, blah. They're not going to tell you the limitations of the product.
Absolutely not.
So part of managing expectations is understanding the limitations of my skills, of your skills, the limitation. I call this the canvas. And I use the metaphor of a surfer. You can take the best surfer in the world and give him the crappiest waves. He's only going to do so much. Mm-hmm. I don't care how good he is. So I don't care how good I am. I'm limited by the canvas in which I'm working on. And so that's part of managing those expectations, is making sure the customer understands the limitations. And you did. Just from the moment we engaged via email, and then on the phone, and then in person, I could tell that you did not have unrealistic expectations based on the nature of this beast. You're like, so that was good. I didn't have to do much damage control in that area.
To manage me?
Well, because some people really, like, let's say if I showed up and you said, Darren, I want this like glass. I don't want to see any orange peel. I want it to be like glass. I want it to look like a mirror. I want my wife to be able to put her makeup on in this. Then I'd say, It's not going to happen. And you can call every detailer in town, and most of them, if they're have integrity, will say it's just not realistic. A few of them will show up and they'll attempt it, but then you will be severely disappointed, and they're going to walk away maybe with still some money in their hand. I don't know what. But if you had said that to me, I'd say that's unrealistic. And I would have known that from the picture. And if you had told me that, I'd be like, okay, no. So I didn't. That's what I mean, is I didn't need to manage your expectations into La La Land down to reality, because you already had realistic expectations. I just wanted to confirm that we're on the same page.
Absolutely.
So we did. So anyhow, so there's much more to operating a detail business other than just showing up and buffing a car and buffing a boat. You know, and you may mention that. It's like that's almost as much work as it is doing the work or learning how to do the work. And it is.
This is just the mechanical part, but you got to be a psychologist too. And that's arguably harder, I think.
It is. Trust me, it's been a difficult learning curve after 25 plus years. And that's what I'm trying to help them through is you can never replace just hands-on experience, but I can add dimension to it so that their hands-on experience is a little less painful than mine was. How about that? So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So I appreciate you being willing to go on camera. Not every customer is. You know, never mind them taking a picture. Everyone gets all, camera shy. I myself am, but that's a whole nother story. So thank you in advance. Appreciate the business, by the way. So I'm glad that I was able to deliver upon your expectations and actually over-deliver at a level, because there was a section that you had tried to blend in with the spray gun. I honestly had no idea the results I was going to be able to produce, because it really is a case-by-case. Fortunately, I was able to blend it in rather well. It actually came out better than I even anticipated, as well as yourself.
It came out far better than I thought.
That's good. So I like that. Far better than I even thought. Well, I'll take that all day long.
That's awesome. I would, in fact, you need to look at my truck before you leave, because it needs help too.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Everything
good.
Was awesome.
Good. All right. Hope you guys have learned something. Till next time.